Hello, welcome to my presentation. A lot of people requested that kind of video, and here we are. How to fix most of the bad heroes in For Honor. So, nowadays, a lot of heroes are in a healthy state, but we have some exceptions. And what is the goal of this presentation? So, make heroes in lower tiers competitive, or at least fun to play. We're focusing solely on straightforward, no-brainer changes, buff parts of the kit without making them overpowered in their area of expertise. For example, in the last Shaman change slash buff, Ubisoft buffed Shaman in an unreasonable way because Shaman is super strong in 1v1 and extremely bad in teamfights, aka Dominion. And what was the problem? They actually changed her. On every heavy parry, you can pull off a bite, a bash. That means when the target is bleeding, you can get a free bite for 40 damage. You heal yourself for 10. Or you can use a bash to wall splat him, and that leads into a heavy. And that makes her super strong in 1v1. But this change have no meaning in Dominion because you get interrupted, blah blah blah. So we try to avoid that kind of changes. All right. So let's get started. Wait, I have to remove myself. So we have, of course, S tier, A tier. I think S and A tier, we don't need to change them right now. I know, guys. I know we need some quality of life changes, for example, for Valkyrie or Warlord. For example, Warlord is super static when it comes down to his bash. Like when you bash someone, you can only punish the guy in front of you, while everyone else, for example, Backbriar, who else? Orochi, they can switch the target, okay? I think we don't address this for now because the point is, you can pick one of these heroes and have a lot of fun in Dominion if you play them correctly in the right environment, of course. So, our focus is here, B, C, and D tier. Why? Because there's some frustration with them because they feel so lackluster. But yeah, enough talks. Let's get straight to the point. Shaman. Shaman's hitbox is ridiculous. Literally, your weapon faces through your enemy and you still whiff your attack. And what is the problem? Yeah, most of her attacks have no real hitbox and are highly unreliable. This makes her extremely weak in teamfights, anti-ganks, and minion clearing. It's simply not fun to play her in Dominion because those are exactly the things that matter in that mode. So, having no hitbox means you have a huge disadvantage in teamfights. You are not able to suppress people around you to force them into defense. You cannot throw moves that might hit multiple people. You can only attack literally just one guy. And minion clearing, I don't have to mention that. Like every Shaman players know exactly what I mean. The minion clear is terrible. It takes so much time to clear a minion wave. Ugh. In an anti-gank situation, same thing like in teamfights. You can only hit one person. You cannot really throw offense without exposing yourself. It's a lot of trouble. I don't ask for a great hitbox. I don't ask for a good hitbox. I just ask for an accurate hitbox. That's it. I think this is a no-brainer change that needs to be fixed ASAP. So, what is the next point? No forward movement on base attacks. The only real way for Shaman to contribute in a teamfight is by using her bash, but it has a long startup and is extremely unsafe for her. Giving her more forward movement would allow her to peel with standard attacks more effectively. Teamfights are usually not clumped up, everyone's spread out to avoid unlock attacks. and they try to position themselves to stay safe and to get the right angle to attack multiple people. And this is where Shaman struggles already. Like, everyone's spread out. You have a person, an enemy A, let's call him enemy A, and enemy B on your side. So sometimes you see enemy A is totally focused on you, and enemy B is kind of distracted. But you don't have the freedom just to switch the targets, because your forward movement is ridiculous. Even if you switch the target, you don't have range. The only way to open him up is with the forward dodge move that is a heavy or a bash, but you expose yourself every freaking time. And this is why Shaman needs a little bit more forward movement on her attacks. And the same problem also in anti-gank situation. She gets outnumbered. You have the person number 1 or ganker number 1 in front of you, but you have a babysitter on your right side. All right, and you know exactly the guy in front of you is just throwing attacks at you, and you also want to force some pressure on the ganker number 2. But here's the thing. Usually a good ganker stays in a position where he can apply pressure, where he can act, but he also stays relatively safe. For example, I play Nubu as a ganker and I have to fight a Shaman. What am I doing? I stay on max range for my bleed attacks, and there's no way Shaman can attack you because of the lack of a because of the lack of the forward movement. So you cannot just do a cheeky attack to ganker number 1 and then switch to ganker number 2 and attack him. No, that's not possible. So this needs to be addressed. I think Shaman has the worst forward movement from all characters in the game. So Shaman, part number 2. The fact your left unblockable only works in one direction makes no sense from a gameplay perspective. The right heavy finisher should also be an unblockable. Why? I think right now, every time when you reach your finisher, you can throw a left heavy attack to unleash an unblockable. But on the right side, it's just a regular heavy. And it also has no benefits. It deals the same amount of damage. It has the same hit stun. I don't know why. So, in combination with the new hitbox changes, alright? Right now it doesn't really matter. But if Ubisoft decides to improve her hitbox, to make it accurate, it would also help Shaman to have an unblockable on at least on both sides, left and right. Top doesn't really matter in my opinion, but the point is, have more variety in her angles helps so much. And it helps in minion clearing, it helps in team fights, anti-ganks. Hell man, we need an unblockable also on the right side. So, these changes would definitely help Shaman perform better in Dominion without making her unnecessarily stronger in 1v1s and in 1v1 scenarios. I am confident that with these adjustments, a lot of the frustration will be gone and she'd finally be fun to play in Dominion. Do you agree? I think this is what I mean. These are no-brainer changes. And some people ask for, hey yo, please uninterruptible bite, please a faster bite. Like Shaman's bite is, wait, it is the longest pin in the game. I think it lasts for over 1.1 or 1.2 seconds, while all other characters have around 0.9, 0.8 pins, second pins. But Shaman, you also have to consider it deals 40 damage. It's also the pin with the highest damage. So this is what I mean. These are problematic changes, but I just go right now for the no-brainer changes. Okay, everyone can agree on them. They are definitely needed for the characters here. So, Conqueror, part number 1. No rogue catchers after 9 years. I know, guys, Ubisoft is working on that already, but it still blows my mind. It still blows my mind, guys. So what does this mean? Before the proper rogue catcher, opponents can easily escape when you gain the upper hand or when Conqueror pop revenge. This puts Conqueror at a clear disadvantage, particularly in teamfights. Rogue catchers aren't just about chase potential, they also play a key role in peeling for teammates. Yeah. So the problem, like, everyone can just escapes you. Like when they see, okay, I lost a lot of health, I won't win this 1v1 or team fight, I just back roll and run away to the next healing point. There's nothing Conqueror can do. For example, also, when you pop revenge lasts for 8 seconds, and by back rolling the initial move, you can stall at least 2 or 3 seconds of his revenge. So Conqueror is screwed already. And a rogue catcher makes you at least, even if it gets blocked, it makes you stick on your enemy. So this is why rogue catchers are so important. Another reason to have a rogue catcher is it's also a peel tool. What is a peel? For example, in a team fight, your enemy lands a parry and he's about to punish your teammate. And usually you want to intervene with something. You want to intervene with a light attack, with a zone attack, with a bash, with a rogue catcher. This is, by interrupting him, this is what we call a peel. So, and a rogue catcher also acts as a peel to help your teammates. It also works as a ganking tool. You see your, like, the opposite situation. Your teammate lands a parry and he's just too far away to add extra damage. And what a lot of high level players are doing, they just go for a forward dodge attack, land the attack, and you can go for your finisher, and your teammate also confirms that. It has a super nice flow. But never mind, I talk too much. Rogue catchers are absolutely a mandatory move on all characters. On all characters, guys. And I mean with all characters, Conqueror, Raider, and Nobushi. So, but enough talks, let's get going. Conqueror part 2. Conqueror's chain bash makes no sense at all. Oh boy, guys, yes, Conqueror has a chain bash. A lot of people don't know about it because no one is using it, and for a good reason, and I explain here why. So Conqueror's chain bash makes no sense at all, and the risk reward is actually against him. If people dodge your bash, they get a free guard break on Conqueror and punish him with a heavy. It's actually better to just let an unblockable fly. At least on a counter, Conqueror only gets punished with a light attack. So, what is the problem here? I tried to explain it. Every time when you throw a light or a heavy, I'm not sure about the light, but 100%. On a heavy, you can go for a feintable bash. But the problem is, if the enemy dodges your bash, you get punished with a heavy attack. So therefore, an average 24 damage. And if you land the bash, your damage reward is just the regular punish. I think it's 12 damage. It only gets better when you unlock your tier 2 haymaker to add 5 more damage, but overall the risk reward is against you. So therefore, is it not just better to use your unblockable heavy? So if you land unblockable heavy, your reward is 12 damage on your enemy, and if you get parried, you only get punished with 12 damage. It's kind of crazy, right? So that's why no one uses the chain bash on Conqueror. The risk reward is just bad. So, and here's the solution. Introducing a chargeable bash like Warden or Warmonger. would make Conqueror more consistent, allowing him to catch early, late dodges and rolls. So if you, for example, land the level 1 bash, of course, you just land, you get rewarded with 12 damage with your regular light. If you land a charge bash, you can pull off the unblockable heavy for 22 damage. You have forward movement on your bash. For example, Warden has good forward movement when he actually commits into his level 3 bash. This helps in team fights. Yeah, but in the current state, the chain bash is useless. So this would help Conqueror a lot. So Conqueror himself isn't actually that bad. With his unlocked feats, he's a strong duelist, hard to gank, good at clearing minions, and his unlimited unblockables are solid team fights. However, the lack of a roll catcher allows players to easily cheese him, and the chain bash doesn't make sense. These changes should help eliminate the frustration for Conqueror players without making him even stronger in 1v1s. The chargeable bash is just a utility to add more variety to his chains, rather than relying solely on unblockables. So, would the charge bash make sense or make him stronger in 1v1? Not really, because your risk reward, the best reward you can get is the unblockables. But like I said, it's just more a utility tool, the charge bash. But in the current state, it's just useless. It makes no sense. Ugh. Guys, Conqueror. Conqueror. I tried to love him, but in his current state, it's not really possible. So, let's get going. Raider. No red catcher. Yes, no further explanation needed here. We're facing the same issue as with Conqueror. Do you agree? I think so. Like, why roll catchers are so important? You have the upper hand as a raider, people just back rolls, and then you have to approach them every freaking time. And when you have revenge, people are back rolling, they waste solid 2-3 seconds of your revenge, 5 seconds are left. Yeah, disadvantage for raider, clearly. So, please add a roll catcher. UB. So, Raider struggles in high-level competitive teamfights. Most of the times he's forced into a defensive role because he has no meaningful counter to unlock attacks. A 12 damage crushing counter would finally give Raider the tools to fight back, help him contribute more actively in teamfights, and shut down the mindless unlock spam he constantly deals with. So right now, Raider is actually not that bad in teamfights. He has hyper armor heavy swings on his chain heavies. They deal a lot of damage. They have a great hitbox. You have an unblockable out of neutral. This is great. Like, this is one of the greatest tools you can have in teamfights. Also, a chain unblockable finisher. If you think you go for the extra juicy unblockable swing. Therefore, he's actually not bad, offense-wise, but because everyone can just spam unlock tags on him, he's forced to be in a defensive role. Even the hyper armor doesn't help him right now. And his dodge attack is just a tap. Like, you dodge, tap, you can only hit one person. Maximum. So, and a 12 damage crushing counter would help him at least to make the enemy stop to spam. Spam attacks on you to suppress him. So why 12 damage, not more? Because I want Raider not to get rewarded. Like, a crushing counter is always an extra layer of defense for the hero. For example, take Blackbriar, for example. You throw a heavy attack at Blackbriar and he counter it with different options. He can counter it with a regular parry. He can counter it with a flip. And then he can counter it with a crushing counter. So you have to land a correct hard read on him to counter him counter him. And it's the same with Raider. Like if Ubisoft gives him a crushing counter, it deals more damage. People are prone to use the crushing counter more than just the regular heavy parry because it deals more damage. The risk reward shifts, like it's better for the crushing counter, blah 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 blah. That's why it does 12 damage. So, Raider isn't a bad hero overall, and he actually performs well in high level 1v1 tournaments. However, in Dominion, he rarely gets picked due to the issues mentioned earlier, despite having solid feats like Sprint, Inspire, Fury and Fire Blast. Adding a crushing counter with standard damage wouldn't make him much stronger in duels, but it would massively help him in Dominion. With new heroes and reworks constantly raising the power ceiling, Raider's old kit is starting to feel outdated. This would be the smallest possible compromise to reduce frustration and help him stay relevant. Do you agree on that? Yes, no? Please leave some comments. I'm always glad to read them. So, next hero. Kensei, part 1. So, slow hero in general with 6 meters per second. All vanguards have an average. No, they have exactly 6.5 meters per second. So with all vanguards, I mean all vanguards. Warden, Jormungandr, Tiandi, Raider. They all have 6.5 seconds. And from a gameplay, lore and balance perspective, there's no reason for Kensei to be slower than his counterparts. So, lack of external pressure. Right now, Kensei, like you don't want to throw regular attacks. His hitbox is great, no doubt, okay? But with regular attacks, you just feed revenge, okay? They don't threaten anyone. And the only way Kensei to apply external pressure is through his pommel strike, but it's quite slow and has a very limited range. Giving Kensei an enhanced hand splitter would allow him to take a step forward in team fights, so you basically close the gap, get closer and threaten opponents with an unblockable, similar to Griffin. It's also fun fact, it's literally the same move, lore-wise. So, what does it mean? Right now, your pommel strike, it's super slow. You can get interrupted, especially in team fights, very easily. It deals low damage. It's risky. The forward movement is not great. This is the only way to get to your unblockable. Also, so that forces you, as a Kensei, to play in a defensive way. So, what am I doing right now? On higher level lobbies, I wait for an opportunity to strike someone with a dodge attack. Might be a locked in dodge attack, unlock. With the dodge attack, you reach immediately into your unblockable. Yeah, but only 2 reliable ways to get to get to your unblockable. Ooh. And with an enhanced sim splitter, you have more options. So, Kensei Part 2. Pommel Strike is slow and has a bad risk-reward ratio, mainly because of how easily it can be interrupted, like it's super slow. On top of that, the mix-ups don't feel very consistent or reliable. So what do I mean with that? Every time when you throw in a Pommel Strike, people tend to do dodge attack. Why? With a dodge attack, with a buffered dodge attack, they can avoid the Pommel Strike, and they can avoid a GB attempt. They also can avoid the Pommel Strike soft feint light. So this is what I mean with bad risk reward ratio. You have to do a hard read. Like, okay, when I wind up for top heavy, feinted, then I have to go for a parry to actually parry your dodge attack. And even when you have to soft read right, for example, okay, he's going to dodge, but I don't know what he's doing after the dodge. Is he just going for the dodge, or is he going for a dodge attack? I don't know. And with an undodgeable soft feint light, like here's the explanation, at the very least make this light soft feint undodgeable to more consistently catch dodge attempts on reads. Right now, players buffer dodge attacks as soon as they see the top indicator to avoid both the pommel strike and a potential guard break. Even when throwing the soft feint lights, it often fails to catch them, which makes the whole mix-up feel ineffective. I really hope you understand. You know what I mean. For example, you throw a pommel strike, guard break doesn't work, pommel strike doesn't work, your soft feint light whiffs very often, makes it inconsistent. It makes the move with its read very, very risky. You have to read on the dodge attacks. It sounds very simple, but against higher level players, they have easy offense on Kensei. It's kind of frustrating right now. So overall, the movement speed change just makes sense, feels natural. Giving Hand Splitter more presence would allow Kensei to stay aggressive without being forced to rely on pommel strike alone or on dodge attacks. And fixing his soft feints wouldn't buff his 1v1 strengths. It would just make his mix-ups feel fair and more consistent. That's my approach on Kensei. So, Nuxia. Ooh, Nuxia. So, I actually have selected 3 feats, but I will come to this later. Nuxia. What's the problem with Nuxia? Nuxia, in Revenge, is forced into a one-trick pony roll, only able to deal damage with her 400 millisecond chain lights, since her trap animation is easily interrupted by basic attacks. So, I tried to. Here's an example. You are Nuxia. You fight for your life against 2 gankers. Alright? You manage to get revenge. So, you pop your revenge and you try your best to open someone up, but the guy is literally just blocking your attacks. Right? They see a heavy indicator. Here, as you say, okay, I can go for the trap. But Ganker B sees your attempt and interrupts you with a light attack, with a zone, with a heavy, with a bash. Everything interrupts Nuxia traps. So therefore, there's no way to get any profit from that. So the only way to deal damage, kind of consistently, but in a bad way, are her 400 millisecond lights. So you throw a heavy, then you can chain into 400 millisecond lights. This is the only way to deal damage. Therefore, Nuxia is not able. It's impossible for Nuxia to deal or to land big damage in Revenge. So, of course. And what else? Yeah, cold drops, but you don't have cold drops available every time, right? This makes traps feel so bad in Revenge, in my opinion. So, a possible fix would be to make the trap animation uninterruptible during Revenge, just in Revenge, okay? Or to allow Nuxia to cancel it into a dodge, opening up options for deflects or dodge attacks, much like Gladiator's mechanics. What do I want with that? So, like Gladiator, when you pin someone, or here in Nuxia's case, when you trap someone, you expect an interrupt, alright? And you can actually dodge out of your trap animation and attack him. This at least forces Ganker B to do a read. Okay, he traps my mate. Is he going to commit that trap, or is he switch the target and attacks me? This is the least thing Ubisoft can do to Nuxia. Alright? In my opinion. So, now to the part with her feats. Some of Nuxia's feats are almost completely useless. Ubisoft has to reconsider her feat loadout. No one ever picks Threat of Fate or Takedown. What is Threat of Fate? Threat of Fate is her unique level 3 ability. Bind an enemy. Bound enemy can't run, sprint or roll. bind is broken over time or by distancing yourself. And guys, this is a level 3 ability. And no one, guys, I played For Honor for 9 years. And no one on my level at least picks this feat. Maybe people are desperate or just bought unlocked Nuxia and then they have this, unfortunately. But right now I see no one playing this in an active way or in a meaningful way at least. So please rework this ability, Ubisoft. Please, please, please. Takedown. The problem with takedown is it's a level 3 feat, it's useless. If you pop it, everyone knows exactly what your plan is, it makes it more predictable, and yeah. Ubisoft also goes so far, they try to remove takedowns from older heroes, for example, Warden. Yeah, I think it's Warden. They saw, yeah, Warden takedown makes no sense, remove this with other feats, yeah. And they also have to do this with Nuxia. And Berserker is a level 4 ability. And guys, why should you ever play Berserker when you can have infection? Alright? Please also reconsider Berserker. I think some of the beats makes no sense. Yeah. So Nuxia shines in 1v1s and has become much more effective in Dominion with the recent updates and her new zone attack. But in anti-gang she really falls flat, only being effective when her abilities like health drops are ready. New super armor in Revenge helps in 1v1s, 1vx scenarios, but doesn't significantly improve her in 1v1s or teamfights. New abilities could bring more variety and utility to her kit, as her current ones are mostly useless. These changes would significantly reduce her frustration. So yeah, I guess these changes are reasonable. I hope Ubisoft takes a look on Nuxia again very soon. So what about Sohei and Jorm? So I really struggled to find a solution for Sohei and Jorm, because I think Jorm is in a weird way in a good spot. So why? Because when you unlock all your feats, you are a menace and 1v1. Your risk reward is insanely good. For example, you throw an unblockable heavy, you wall splat someone, so basically you get rewarded with 1 correct read with 2 heavies. You punch someone, you heal yourself, you knock someone down, you hammer slam him, you get an overshield, you can go more aggressive. This is a spiral, upward spiral for a snowball effect for Jorm in 1v1s, of course. In team fights, it's a different story. In team fights, he's kind of underwhelming. You cannot pull off your best moves. For example, hammer slam gets interrupted in team fights, and people are just saying, yo, in this case, Ferran just buff his heavy finisher to normalize it, but in this case it would make him super broken in 1v1s. And in team fights, please make it uninterruptible, the hammer slam, like Centurion. For example, Centurion punched someone down, why does he get hyper armor on his Eagle's talon? It doesn't matter, on his big punish. Yeah, that's not so easy, guys. By changing that, you can make Jorm easily super broken. And in this case, I just say, hey, he's totally fine in his role, because you just look for duels, you just look for maybe ganks. His ganks are not crazy, great in my opinion. They are super lengthy, they feed a lot of revenge, and yeah, you can't pull them off in the team fights as well. They're a little bit troublesome, but the point is, Jorm is super strong with his feats, with his abilities in 1v1s. In Dominion mode, of course. So, Sohei, I personally also struggled to find a solution for Sohei. Sohei is unique, and that means from a design from a design perspective, right? So your Sohei becomes a god when he unlocks all his stacks, but after without his stacks, he's basically nothing. He's a liability. So, he only becomes strong when he unlocks all his abilities, farms all stacks, and at this point, he's super strong. But without stacks, it's just terrible. And I really struggle here. I think Ubisoft has to maybe rework him, to be honest. For example, make his damage burst, make his, like, I think it's a little bit irritating to land a specific heavy in the right direction. For example, you're missing the right heavy finisher, alright? And you have to land exactly the right heavy finisher. In my opinion, it should be enough to land a heavy. Like, to land, for example, three light finishers and 3 heavy finishers, but you have to reduce the punish, like the one-shot kill. Maybe give him the ability to punish you for 40-50 damage, and with the level 2 you heal yourself with to half HP, for example. Make it easier to get your stacks, but reduce the reward for the stacks. Something like that, I think. And of course, this this kit in general doesn't really work in team fights. All his heavy finishers, they just target one person, and you can only suppress people with your white don't swing and with the neutral heavies. Sohei feels super clunky. Therefore, I really struggle to find a solution for him. But hey, I guess that's it for now. These are my no-brainer changes for Fauna in its current state. Right? And guys, if you still listen to this presentation, thanks for watching and listening. Please subscribe, leave your opinion in the comments. I really struggle to make videos like this one, because I think it's easier to do an anti-gank video instead of just doing this kind, because balance is always a spicy topic. Like, everyone gets offended, everyone has their own opinion. That's why I always say, yo, I just want to address the no-brainer changes. Everyone would mostly agree to these changes, and I think right now we live in a very healthy meta. Like, you can have fun with all these heroes, and with these changes you can reduce the frustration of these heroes and at least put them on A tier, on the fun tier. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this session. See you in the next video. Bye bye.